Oh, this question I got, this was so interesting that I actually wrote a blog post about this. So feel free to go to our website at tier1services.net and look around for this blog. How should I figure out how much to charge for a workshop that I'm going to offer? I love that you're going to offer workshops, whether workshops are your product or workshops are a gateway to selling some larger product or service. Way to go. There's nothing like really stepping out and helping someone to produce a result in a project capacity so they can experience that result. You can build your credibility. It's one of the reasons why I love teaching so much. You make an impact during that session. And also people listening and attending might say, wow, this is amazing. If she can solve this for that person, maybe she can help my company with XYZ. I think I'll reach out. So giving a workshop is just a win all around. But how do you price workshops? So there are a lot of things to consider. And if your workshop has materials, don't make the mistake that I made back when I was a middle school and high school student. I didn't really realize it. I was always an entrepreneur. I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. And one of the many things that I did for my side hustle when I was in middle school and high school is I made jewelry. And I was not aware of how to place a value on the products that I made and sold. The only thing that I knew how to do was to calculate the cost of my materials. Guys, you know how much embroidery thread costs? You know, it costs hardly anything. It costs $1. It costs less than $1. It costs 25 cents for the amount that you'd use. How much beads used? I went to the beach and I picked up a shell. I grew up near Fort Lauderdale. I picked up a shell with a hole in it. That didn't cost me anything. I didn't factor in the real cost. How long did it take to build my expertise? What could I have been doing otherwise? What could the buyer have been doing? Or what did the buyer get to do because the buyer didn't stop and take the time to get the materials, to learn how to do it, and to put it together? Just the cost of materials isn't enough, but there's another set of strategic ideas to consider here. Who do you want to attract to your workshop? Especially if your workshop is a gateway to some larger, more profitable, more expensive product or service. You don't want to be charging $9.95 for a workshop if your service costs $10,000 a month. You're going to need to price your workshop so your ideal customer selects in or selects out. Example, when I counsel clients on how to shop for a fill in the blank, right? So we're CFOs, we talk with our clients freely about money all the time and our recommendations for them spending their money. And if they were to shop for, let's go for a conversation I had recently, a website. If you want a website based on the lowest cost provider because you don't really need it a whole lot, you just need it for some basic, like, hey, I have some online real estate, right? I just have a website, here's my photo. You don't really need things, you're not really gonna need an ROI on that. But go for the lowest cost provider, I get that. Pay $200 for a website. But if you need a significant return on investment, don't go for whether it's a freelancer or company who's charging $200 for the website. If you're not gonna get the coolest website in the universe for $200, if somebody charges that little, you're gonna think, they're not going to be able to give me what I need. So you have to price your workshop so the right people come. Don't try to undersell everybody else, especially if you're a small business. Small businesses cannot compete on price. We have to compete on relationship. We have to compete on uniqueness. We have to compete on intangibles. We have to compete on an unusually deep level of expertise by going beyond where most people stop. And those things have a premium. And small businesses can't generate the value that the Walmarts of the world can. So don't compete on price. Be aware of what message the price is sending to your ideal customer. It's okay if some people don't sign up because it's too expensive, if your flagship product or your flagship service is a more expensive one, because you don't want them wasting their time and yours kicking tires for a service that ultimately they can't afford. You thought they'd be able to because you gave a $9.95 workshop. A $9.95 workshop. So price your workshop to help your customers, your ideal customers, select in and select out. And don't overlook the value of what your workshop participants will create as a body. How many people donate extra to the not-for-profit org in order to get into the VIP room? Why? So they can network with other people who have that level of resources, because that's the stuff of new deals, of new relationships, business deals, collaborations, partnerships, networking with like-minded individuals. Thank you, David. Niches get riches, right? So if you can price to show your niche and price to attract people who want to network with other people who have the resources for this workshop, consider that as well when pricing. Not just the cost of materials, right? Realizing what all those have, what richness, all of those considerations, all of those strategic considerations bring into play, helps you look back at the original question. My gosh, I was about to price based on my materials. No, you price based on value. And I'm going to leave this question with one thought, which rocked my world when I was an accounting student back at Rutgers Business School. Shout out for Rutgers, woo! And that's the following. The quote-unquote true value of a product or service, the fair market value of a product or service, can only be determined the moment after a sale, the nanosecond after a sale has taken place, between a willing buyer and a willing seller. Whatever price was paid for that product or service, there you have your fair market value. Only in that moment you know what the fair market value of your workshop is.